All right, hey folks, just wanted to give you a quick rundown of what we were able to do here. So we took the terrestrial scan LiDAR and uploaded it to this viewer here that you have access to. So if you left click your mouse and hold, you can rotate the model, which we're doing here. If you right click and click on the model, you can drag it around to better be able to manipulate it. So, and then zooming in with your mouse wheel lets you zoom into the model. And then again, you use those same tools. So we're clicking and holding, and then we're right clicking to drag the model around, which helps us get a sense of the viewer. So with the terrestrial, some things to note, okay? You see this kind of very sharp line there, and that can help you to determine exactly where the scanner was positioned, because that's shadowing. It is as if this was shining a laser and just rotating around, and so this is about where the laser would have been positioned. And so you see anything, it can't not see beyond a solid structure, so there will be nothing behind where it could see. You might see a few artifacts back here, and believe it or not, that's probably just the laser penetrating through the gaps in the steel there. So it might have shot through the gap and picked up something behind it. But that is what you're seeing here. You see the little markers here in the road, and you can almost see where the scanner was based off of the shadowing of the markers. But this is the terrestrial. Sometimes it has trouble here in these seams, but that's because of the wherever they position the scanner. And so they would have positioned it, let it scan, and then go to the next one, let it scan and go to the next one. So all the way down the length of the bridge here. So this point cloud, we can view it in a few different ways. So if you click over here, you see that you've got a few options. There's a zoom in, zoom out. This will fill the whole screen, kind of. You can enter full screen, which we won't do here. You could change the view angle, so you have your top down. You have from the down side, from the left, from the right, from the front, and from the back. So top down is usually the best view to have. And then of course you have different base maps. So you could throw a different base map on there. This one, it doesn't look like it was perfectly geo-positioned, and or the satellite image is wrong as well. So I wouldn't hold too much against that, because it's not really the point of what we're trying to do here. So once you've got those down, then we'll zoom in a little bit. Again, rotate this so that we have a view that we're used to seeing. There's some things that we can do with displaying the data as well. So here you've got the select tool at the top, and then you have a point tool. You can annotate and drop a point, and then you might give it an incident type or an annotation type. And then if you'd like, you can come over here. Annotations will show up on this left bar as it flies out. And then you could rename this to something. So issue number 1, perhaps. And then that's a way to communicate and let people see. As when you double click on an annotation, it opens up kind of some of the properties over here. So issue 1, these are the things. And here's your latitude, longitude, easting, northing, and elevation, and the ground classification of the point. To close this panel, you hit this button over here. If you wanted to change the color of your little marker, you can do that here and close the panel. Okay. You can take measurements. So if we wanted to measure the distance of each segment, you might click here with your left mouse and then click 1 time to allow yourself to continue a measurement. Okay. But once you're in the measurement, you can still pan. You just right click to pan, and then you go to the next scene. So here you can see how we're kind of moving around, and then at the very end I right clicked there, and that was measuring the distance. So again, just to measure distance, you're gonna left click, and then right click ends your measurement, and then gives you some opportunities over here. So you can measure your height distance if you'd like. And that is going to be, it made a triangle essentially. And then here's your height, here's all sorts of different things. So let's delete these and try to take it one at a time. So we've already made a cross section for you here. And so if we click that cross section, we're going to go find where we made that, which is over here. So it is this, and it is this measurement, this horizontal across the bridge. And if you click show profile, this is going to show you the profile of the point cloud along this line, represented by the little sphere up here. Kind of shows you where along the line you are. But this gives a great representation of, you know, the safety bars here. Here's the surface and the curbing and everything that was captured. So great tool to have right there. And you can really get a sense of what's happening. So we love this tool. It shows us so much. It opens a window that you can kind of drag around a little bit. There's some gridding. You have your height over here on the left side. And then if you hover your mouse, you'll get the XYZ coordinate up here in the box. So you can play around with some of the sliders to see if you're getting what you like to see out of it, and really kind of explore. Okay. The next thing we did was a long cross section. And so we went the length of a segment here, and here's a profile of that. So you can kind of see where the seam was here and where the seam was over here. And then you can kind of see the crowning that would have been represented there as well. So just a couple of example measurements for you. You could add some descriptions to it, or change the name of it again with the attribute color up here of the line itself. So then you could of course measure the area. So we're going to left click, left click, left click, and then to end it, we'll right click. And that gives us an area 618.86 square feet, 4 vertices and a perimeter. Okay. Again, it shows up over here in this annotations tab. We'll just delete that one for now. Then you have only one point cloud in this right now, so we can't really change an attribute or anything. To get to that profile that I showed you before, it is this height profile. So again, a left click and then a right click ends that measurement. Okay, and so it's showing you that height there, 2.95 feet. So great tool to see, okay, what's this curb height doing all along this? So we can delete that and say we wanted to take a measurement on that curb. We would look to try to grab a point right on the edge of it there and see where we were at along this. So you could go there, or if you wanted to come out here and right click, then you get that profile view, which is helping you to see that curve as it drops down right there. So just something to play with and kind of figure out which one is going to help you the most. Okay, and then we can also build a fly through. This is where folks are wanting to kind of fly through the project. So you could start here and then kind of fly through it, and then you turn it off and it saves the thing. So probably don't need to go into that too much. Those get to be more fickle than they're sometimes worth. So there is a layer slicer, and then viewer settings. You could change your units to be different form of measurement. You could adjust some of the performance and visibility and things like that. And then also this camera mode here. So let us hide all of our annotations. You can group them, close the panel as well. Here you're going to see your point clouds, the actual clouds that make up what you're viewing. And so when we click on the point cloud over here under the layers tab, then we can change some attributes about it. So this point cloud was captured with RGB values for each point, so we get a colorized point cloud. So this is what the bridge looked like at the time of capture. And then you could also look at an intensity value. And so this is going to show you how intense was the return back to the LiDAR device. Obviously, reflective striping and things like that will show up a little more intensely than others. Those glass beads are gonna pop it right back. And you can adjust some of the scale here to help you dial in on exactly what you're looking to find. This is a great tool to help you identify some things. And you can also change the color scale. So if maybe it's a little easier to see with this color gradient, color scheme, you can, or this yellow green. It's really up to you. You can also change the size of the points by going minimum to maximum. So minimum I like the most because it really helps you kind of see each individual point. But as you make them bigger, they kind of blend together a little bit. So you're looking for that happy medium in there. Okay. You can also colorize based off of elevation. And so this is, each of these points is assigned an elevation. And so if you wanted to dial in on something specific, you know, you can start to really see. I feel like I captured a pretty decent elevation here from 127 to 129. But as you raise that elevation higher, obviously you're going to lose some of what you could find in the surface. So dialing this in a little bit so that maybe we really just want to see when the top of that surface starts to change, you can start to see where some high spots and low spots are across the entire structure. So that's a useful tool. Again, you can change this to different color gradients that might help you to see more or less across what you might be trying to identify. So maybe here that kind of, you know, gives you the look that you're looking for. But generally the grayscale, rainbow, those are generally pretty good. So everybody's got to dial in on their own, but I think that's a pretty decent look right there. So kind of helps you to see some highs and lows. Okay, you also classify each point. So these are all attributes of the points, and we're just viewing the point cloud, the layer over here, based on these different attributes. It looks like they pretty much categorized everything as ground, so you don't really have too many attributes to look at there. And then they didn't get any of these other attributes to look at. So there is that much. Again, the annotations. And then over here, you could get a CSV of all of the points. So if you wanted to import that into a CAD program or something for yourself. And then we have kind of the project information. So quick little viewer tour here to kind of help make this data more manageable and more useful to you, so that you don't have to set up your own entire software suite to view it. So we will be loading the other point clouds in as well, and then they'll survive for a period of time. So all right, well, thanks for your time, and if you have any questions, happy to answer and walk you through anything as well. Thank you much.